Hello, everyone. This is the Insert Title Show, and I'm your host, Wolf Strife. On this episode, I'm going to be talking about Waterloo, Napoleon's last battle. This came out in 2001, and I am very, very grateful that I got to play this game. I guess I got it in 2001, 2002. I remember walking into a Best Buy and going over to the PC games section, and I just saw the box art and was like, you know what? I've been meaning to learn more about Napoleonic warfare, so I was like, you know what? I'll check it out. And I am very grateful that I did. Basically, my first experience with Napoleonic warfare was when I rented the movie Waterloo from my library. I guess I was probably about 12 years old when I did that. And I watched it on a tiny TV. It was like I don't even know if it was like a 12 by 12 inch TV. I mean, this was a shitty TV. I liked it. I just didn't understand anything about the movie because I didn't know anything about Napoleon or the warfare or anything. So I just kind of watched it and was like, yeah, that was kind of interesting. And then a couple of years later, I got this Waterloo game, and I played it somewhat, but I didn't really understand it too much still. Like, I didn't get the whole formation thing, like squares and marching columns and all that. I just, didn't really understand it. Of course, though, the game's engine comes from the Sid Meier's game, Gettysburg, which I loved. I wish I could still play that game. That game I understood a lot more because I was more of a Civil War buff in my youth, so I knew Pickett's Charge, Little Round Top, Peach Orchard, Cemetery Hill. I knew all that stuff, and the game made sense to me. It was basically like I just charge, basically, with your infantry. So, yeah, I understood that game a lot more, but Napoleonic warfare is a lot different than the Civil War. Infantry is not going to be able to do what it was able to do in the Civil War because of rifles and stuff. So, yeah, it was just a different kind of warfare, and I was too ignorant to really understand how to properly win a battle and stuff in the Napoleonic time period. But then, like a year after I got the game, I came across this Osprey book called The Fall of the French Empire. And that book changed my life forever. I mean, it's kind of weird, but yeah, it really did, because the book was able to explain it to me, how the warfare worked, and gave me insight into the units, the commanders, and all that, and it showed me maps and graphics and stuff, and it just clicked. Because I'm a very visual guy. Yeah, you could tell me what to do, and you can tell me what happened during a battle, but if you show me what happened and show me what to do, I understand it much easier and much better. So, yeah, the book definitely did that for me. So, like, right away, I became a Napoleonic warfare buff. So I hopped back on the game and never looked back. I've been playing it ever since. I guess that would have been about 14, 15 years ago now that I've been playing the game. I even went through it again last year for the 200th anniversary of the battle. I guess I'll explain how the game works. There are several different battles that you can play. Like, you can do fictional battles, or you can do speculative battles, like what if A, B, or C had happened during the real battle, that kind of stuff. Or if Napoleon had attacked earlier in the morning, or if he had done a grand flanking maneuver, that kind of thing. So that's pretty interesting and worth checking out. But I tend to go for the historic battle. And if you want to do that, then you can either do the full-on battle, which is great, but it takes a long time. I guess it will take you, if you are careful and precise, probably 6 to 8 hours to do. And that's pretty cool, but I would recommend that you play smaller scenarios. Like, if you want to, you can do the attack on Hougoumont, or you can do Ney's cavalry charge against the Allied center. You can do the Prussian attack on the French right flank, or you can do the last attack of the Imperial Guard, or hell, even if you want to, you can do the last stand of the Imperial Guard. So yeah, it's really, really cool. And naturally, with each scenario, you can play as either the French or the Allies, so that's pretty cool. And in fact, if you save during a battle, and if you leave and come back, you can actually pick to play the opposite side and, see if they have any troops heading anywhere or anything like that. Or if you want to say, hey, I guess I was kicking their ass, now I'll see if I can switch teams and save their ass, something like that. So that's really, really cool. But last year I actually went through the whole battle for the first time as the Allies because usually I play as the French. So it was definitely interesting being Wellington and Blucher this time. It was a lot easier actually than being the French because, if you're playing as the French, you really got to remember, 50,000 Prussians are going to show up at about 4 or 5 o'clock. So you kind of have to keep that in the back of your mind there. But playing as the Allies is kind of crazy until the Prussians show up because, they send like the AI sends like the entire Second Corps at Hougoumont. So, get ready to send some help down that way. I think I caused about 15 or 20,000 French casualties in the Hougoumont sector alone. So, get ready to defend that sector. And then, you got to deal with the First Corps, then the Sixth Corps, and eventually the Imperial Guard. And then if you're still alive and if you're still holding your position, then when your Prussian allies show up, then it's really just a mop-up session after that. So, pretty crazy. But, playing as the French, you definitely have to be careful. You're definitely going to have to keep some of your artillery in reserve because when those Prussians show up, you're going to need all the firepower you can to obliterate them. But, it's just a really fun game. Kind of tricky. I know it takes a lot to figure out. I mean, the learning curve on this game is pretty immense. But, it's realistic, and it's just how complex it is. There are so many formations you have to figure out how to use. Like, it's much faster to move your infantry using a marching column. Then if you're going up against other infantry, you might want to use line formation, or you could use attack column if you're the French. But you got to be careful doing that. You could use skirmish formation if you're going up against artillery, so that their grape shot doesn't totally fuck you up. If the enemy has cavalry nearby, you definitely got to be careful about that. And using cavalry is pretty tricky sometimes because topography really matters. Like if your cavalry has to charge through a hedgerow or a bunch of bushes or sand or, like a sodden wet field or something, that's going to slow them down and wear them out. So you really, really got to be careful. And artillery is pretty damn effective, but you got to, again, know what you're doing. Definitely helps using combined arms. Have some infantry with some cavalry support and artillery support, and if you can do that, you will usually win the day. Use your infantry to defeat the enemy's infantry, use the cavalry to defend against the enemy's cavalry, or if they don't have cavalry support, you can use your cavalry to try and get the enemy infantry in the square, where they can be blown apart by your infantry and your artillery, especially if you can get the artillery within grape shot range. So, definitely use combined arms and the right formations. And the game has just a huge wealth of information in it. It'll tell you each military commander, from Napoleon all the way down to colonels, for the French army, and the same for the Allied army. And it tells you what weapons they were using. The uniforms, I think, are pretty damn accurate. And man, this is definitely the high watermark for military tailorship, in my opinion. The uniforms at this time were just beautiful, especially compared to the shit we wear nowadays, especially in the United States Army. Ugh, hate that uniform. The Air Force and Navy's uniforms are okay, but I hate the Army's. And I just don't know what to make of the Marine Corps' pants. That's just kind of weird. But back then the uniforms were freaking awesome. I would probably say the 95th Rifles had my favorite uniform of the time. I guess them and the either the chasseurs of the Imperial Guard or the Grenadiers. Either one. I kind of like the bear skin helmets. Those are pretty cool. But yeah, uniforms are great in the game. And it also has like a information section or an index or whatever that will definitely tell you a lot about the freaking time period and stuff. So yeah, this game is just a priceless wealth of information. And it's really, really cool. I just love this game. It's very mathematical too, and I'm not a math guy at all, but I can kind of see how a mathematician would really do well at this time. Like Napoleon was a big math guy. I think Stonewall Jackson was a big math guy. I mean, hell, Robert E. Lee was an engineer, so, he definitely had to understand mathematics. Because it's basically, the warfare boils down to who can get the most muskets firing at a single target the fastest, who can get the most men moved over here the fastest, and who can get, just the most firepower going at one time at a single target the fastest, because numbers really, really do matter in this type of warfare. So, yeah, it's really speed, numbers, and just the amount of firepower and combined arms that you can do. So it really is mathematical, especially if you're playing as the French, because hey, you got to smash Wellington before the 50,000 or so Prussians show up. So yeah, definitely get your ass moving. So I don't know if you are going to be able to buy this game, unfortunately. I mean, I kind of just got it luckily, but if you are a Napoleonic fan, I mean, spare no expense, man, because this game really is great. I know that, Emperor Total War or Napoleon Total War, whatever it is out and about nowadays, but this game I think you will learn a lot more from. So definitely check it out, and I hope you like it. And if I ever get a capture card, I would love to do a Let's Play of this game and show you how to win the Battle of Waterloo as Napoleon. That would be pretty sweet. Couple of years later, they even made a prequel called Austerlitz, Napoleon's Greatest Battle, which I got, and is pretty good too. I like the changes they made to it, made it a little more updated and stuff. And I guess when the anniversary for that battle comes around again, I'll do an episode on that game. So definitely, if you can, if it's at all possible, definitely try and get this game.